Neighborhoods is the most local of our three campaigns. You've got hyper-local issues happening, and so the attention is at the city or even neighborhood level.
Lamont is a pretty large unincorporated community. It's over 13,000 in population.
Aquí hay mucho trabajo, hay agricultura, hay empaques. So aquí hay mucho de donde crecer.
They don't have some of the basic infrastructure, such as access to roads, sidewalks, gutters, things that allow families to be able to be active and mobile and feel safe in their communities.
A walkable community gets you to Main Street. It gets you to transit. It gets you to college, work training, medical services, jobs. This is about the community. It's about improving people's lives.
So when we launched Building Healthy Communities, it was no surprise that land use infrastructure was lifted up as a priority.
This street is a very trafficky street where we have a lot of vehicles. This is one of the streets where people, students walk to go to school, and it is very important for them to have better streets and sidewalks for them to walk and feel safer.
Es muy difícil yo con la carriola que mis niñas vayan caminando y es más peligroso por los niños.
Nosotros queremos hacer ese cambio. Los beneficiarios son los niños que son los que van creciendo. Hay muchos fondos, hay muchos grants y todo, pero no sabemos cómo agarrarlos.
We decided that we needed somebody from the outside to kind of train us in how to become a committee.
They were supported by a number of community groups, Leadership Council for Justice and Accountability, Center on Race, Poverty, and the Environment, who really lend a certain amount of expertise in helping them navigate those worlds of how do you tap into state funding and bring it to a rural community like Lamont.
Leadership Council y CRP proveímos obviamente el apoyo técnico y la comunicación entre el condado y padres socios.
In order for those dollars to come to Lamont, you needed organizations who are at those tables to advocate that dollars be carved out, if you will, for rural communities in the state.
We came to this corner, it was just a perfect example of why a project's needed in this community. We see a sign here that says kids are walking to school. It's in the middle of dirt and there's no wheelchair ramp. To apply for this funding, you have to have an existing relationship with Caltrans. So we are one of the few agencies that are actually eligible to apply for it. And we prepared the actual application and the engineering work that went with that.
El proyecto de las banquetas y todo lo que está más oscuro es lo que va a ser beneficiado. Y una de las
A big component of the application is public involvement.
For this application to be competitive, we're going to need community support. So Lamont Parent Partners really rallied around that, and they went door to door, they gathered petitions.
El primer paso fue repartir flyers y hablar con la comunidad que se nos estaba trayendo una oportunidad de mejorar el pueblo.
Íbamos de puerta en puerta para poder juntar las firmas y poder hacer que la comunidad también se uniera a nosotros para poder lograr esto.
When we can do a public meeting and we can show a sign-in sheet of over 100 people, that shows that the community was involved, and we could not have done that on our own.
La experiencia mía ha sido, vas solo, te van a negar la mayor parte del tiempo, vas con la comunidad, la mayor parte del tiempo te van a poner atención.
We We were able to get nearly $2 million for sidewalks in the community of Lamont. Lamont Parent Partners really helped influence this project because they force our decision makers to acknowledge their power.
Muchos de estos fondos son los impuestos que ellos mismos están pagando. Es dinero de ellos.
We are extremely happy that we got this grant for the Lamont people. We couldn't believe it at first. Orgulloso de que la gente está empezando a creer en nosotros y también demostrando que sí se puede hacer las cosas, todo es querer y unirse para poder hacer un cambio en nuestra comunidad.
César Chávez solía decir que tú cuando educas a alguien ya no puedes deseducarlo. La comunidad de Lamont va a seguir progresando porque ya la gente se puso las pilas, como decimos, y va a buscar esos cambios.
Hemos hecho un gran trabajo y por eso no nos la creemos.
They're itching for the next fight, they're itching for the next win, and that's what building healthy communities is about, is creating a culture of winning for wellness. With Del Norte, there's even more texture and more nuance. There's people power involved, there's partnership involved, there's collaboration involved, but then we also begin to see a richer, more nuanced story about culture and tradition and history. They're both about people power, they both result in wins, but they're not identical, but both are beautiful.
Del Norte and the adjacent tribal lands is some of the most spectacularly beautiful place in the world and spiritually, culturally rich place, and yet I'm faced with lack of infrastructure and lack of investment. In 2009, Building Healthy Communities started the conversation to create our community plan here in Del Norte County and the adjacent tribal lands. The Yurok community engaged in a conversation about what will it take to transform the experience of children and families growing up in this beautiful part of the reservation.
Our local organizer went around and talked to hundreds of people in the community and to prioritize what was the top issue. The people said we need to put fire back on the land.
Traditionally, managing our land meant burning the land, and burning the land in a way that allowed for animals to live and thrive and also for our plants to grow and flourish.
Everything out here has a spirit, and everything in here is connected in our circle of life, and fire is a main ingredient of keeping that in balance. It's been out of balance for so long that it's really reflecting on our people now.
Everything's just getting choked off and our wildlife ain't got nowhere to go.
It's resulted in just massive brush, thick, impenetrable brush.
It's time for us to make a change, create that connection, the bond with the land. And in the 100 years of fire suppression, we've got so out of balance that it's just a tinderbox waiting for a firestorm to come through here.
In 2010, the Klamath Local Organizing Committee started their research process, and that really took quite a while because this is a very complicated issue.
So a project of this magnitude requires the coordination of a lot of federal and state agencies, the Air Quality Resources Control Board, permits, working with private landowners and other Indian people and the Yurok tribal government and the different agencies that are all part of managing the land and the landscape here.
Land use work and neighborhoods work is complicated by a variety of factors. You're talking about the federal government, you're talking about, additional agencies, and I think that only adds a whole other layer in some respects of complexity. There's a lot of planning that goes into it. You have to finance it. You have to do a lot of different, get the environmental permits.
Educating the community is really important because fear of fire has been ingrained in us for 100 years. And so people need to understand that it can be done in a controlled, safe manner.
I told my mom what we were doing in this project, and she said, "Son, I think this is the hardest thing you've ever tried to do." She said, "We as Indian people, we don't even like to talk to each other. Now you want us to talk to other people." So I said, "Yes, Mom, I do want us to talk to other people, because I think that's how we get stronger."
We had no clue how critically important the matter of land and landscape management was to their health and to their well-being. How they're able to manage the land in a way that provides sustainable food, a sustainable place for them to invoke their spiritual beliefs.
So when a wide range of community members were able to unite on a single issue, when they were able to go and do really thoughtful and intentional research with a whole host of decision makers, both internally to the tribal government to external partners as well, people who actually had the power to make the cultural burns happen, and then come to the tribal council and say, here's the plan, we've got all of these agencies lined up, here's the research that we've done, this is possible this year.
Does the Yurok tribe support the work of, and will they partner with, the Klamath River Local Organizing Committee on building a comprehensive community burn plan?
Yes, so says the council.
It's so easy for them to say yes, because the hard work had really happened by the people, and it's very rare that the community will come together around one single issue with one clear voice.
That was a big plus for this community, to have the tribal council behind what we wanted to see done on our landscape.
We had to get a permit from CAL FIRE. They came up and they helped us with our first burn that we did. They brought a couple of fire engines, and then they brought a 20-man crew from Alder Camp, and then also the Yurok Wildland Fire. They helped put the fire on the ground, and we burned 7 acres our first time.
When this is cleared, you can take those down, and everything that comes up new is going to make a basket weaver's dream come true.
If you take a look up here, the whole landscape looked like that. It was so thick you couldn't walk through it. Deer couldn't get through it. We can't gather, and it was just unmanageable. Now as we apply fire, you can see the difference from the landscapes, that it's more of a manageable state. Our deer are coming back.
Our goal is to take care of our whole ancestral territory. We need to have big burns, we need landscape burns. As Native people, our whole identity is connected to the land. It gives us hope that we can be healthy again.
Building healthy communities is about changing the policies and systems that actually affect people's lives.
We went into this knowing that this was going to be a long, long project. The need to take care of the land will always be here. The next generation has to carry on, and the next generation after that.
We're going to heal ourselves. We're going to heal our people and our lands and just make it a better place.